Hello, everybody. It's your boy King Known NBA Music Talk on YouTube. Hey, yo, you can check out my podcast, King Known Uncensored, on Spotify, Apple Music, and Anchor, and many other various platforms. But today, we are here to talk about, is your team a contender, a pretender, or going to hit the lottery? Now, as usual, we're going to start in alphabetical order, of course. We're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks roster. All right. Now, telling from this roster right here, obviously, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are probably, arguably, a top 5 backcourt in this league, easily. Then you have DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, who's a lob threat. Clint Capella, also a lob threat. I feel like this team can improve offensively because so many people are going to be catching so many good passes. Because, DeJounte is probably going to play the 2 because Trey is like 6'1". But, hey, Allen Iverson played the shooting guard and he was like 6 feet tall. So then with the additions in the offseason to both the Holiday brothers, Bogdanovich is back, Okongwu's back, AJ Griffin, hopefully he's healthy. Mo Harkless was a low-key, quiet pickup. Frank the Tank's there. You know, I am going to say that Atlanta is definitely a contender. Whether they're a champ, the question really is for them is, are they a championship contender or are they a playoff contender? Well, it's obvious they're a playoff contender. This team could get back to, potentially get back to the Eastern Conference Finals because they made the Eastern Conference Finals without DeJounte Murray about 2021, I believe, or was it 2020? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was 2021. Definitely 2021. And, last year this team had a slow start, dealt with injuries and things of that nature, and went from the 10th seed all the way to the 8th seed and took a game off the 1 seed Miami Heat. So this team is going to be obviously better with the additions that they've had. Now let's move on. Okay, let's move on to the Boston Celtics. Obviously, championship contender. There's no doubt in my mind. Championship contender like a motherfucker. As we look at, let me just go by position here. Obviously, Brogdon, big, huge pickup. Malcolm Brogdon's a talented player. He can play. Him being the starting point guard. They can play small ball. They can, I just feel like Boston's like missing a shot blocker. A backup that's a shot blocker, but that's not the right show. We talking about contender, pretender, or lottery right now. And obviously, contender, championship contender. Duh. Brogdon and Smart, that's an underrated backcourt. Brown, Tatum, are they going to play shooting guard and small forward or small forward or power forward? And another question is, Robert Williams is definitely going to be the starting center, but will Al Horford come off the bench? To be honest, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench is dope. Gallinari's out for the season, and Justin Jackson will probably be filling in. But I definitely believe that this is a championship contending team. I didn't know that they had this. I'm sick as hell. I could have been using this shit the whole time. I'm dead as fuck. But anyway, Brooklyn. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. They're definitely a championship contender, but I have so many questions. Are they going to underachieve like they've been doing, or are they going to actually step up like men and throw down? Because this Brooklyn team has been disappointing, only making it as far as the second round of the playoffs when you have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant who have won championships, Ben Simmons who has been um, in many playoffs. You know, Joe Harris was out for most of last year. Gotta acknowledge that. But this team right here, honestly, this is a top 3, top 4 roster in the league, not just the Eastern Conference. I mean, Ben Simmons, honestly, I think he should play the 4 and not the guard position. I think he's better suited at the power forward position. And he can work on his post moves so that he doesn't have to force himself to take jump shots. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he's definitely a liability, like, on the perimeter. So from him to work on maybe a 15-footer, that's the least he could do. I mean, but the passing, though, is going to be incredible, though, by him. And the defense. Got to, you know, this team is way better than they were last year. I mean, you got Mills, Curry coming back, adding Royce O'Neal and TJ Warren and Markieff Morris. Those additions are going to strengthen this team. All they're missing really is like a shot blocker, like somebody that could just erase things. I mean, Dwight Howard's still out there, but Brooklyn's definitely a championship contender. No doubt. No excuses this year. If Brooklyn doesn't make the finals, in my opinion, they underachieved. There's no excuses this time for Kyrie and Kevin Durant to not get it done. They have the perfect team. I'm not going to lie. This offseason, Brooklyn put together a hell of a team to put around Kevin Durant. And I never understood, like, why he wanted out. That's some weirdo shit. Like, you got the perfect roster. I don't want to hear shit. It's championship or bust. Charlotte Hornets. Ooh, contender, pretender, or lottery. Definitely hitting the lottery. I just feel like this team is just not it. I mean, they've been coming up short in the playing game every year. And I think they're going to regress because a lot of these players on this team, I think they could go out and trade most of these players like Rozier, James Bouknight. I don't know why you have him here if you're not going to play him. Gordon Hayward, who's injury prone. I mean, I'm sure that you would love to get that contract off you. And Gordon Hayward can help a lot of these teams that have championship aspirations. Plumlee, PJ Washington, same thing. Oubre, yeah. I think Charlotte is a very young team, but I think that they need to go and get some first round picks so that they can build a better team around LaMelo Ball. Because LaMelo Ball deserves better players or younger players to pass the ball around to. I mean, honestly, LaMelo could be that next one in the future to average a triple-double in a season. I wouldn't count him out for that. But as far as this year goes, they're hitting the lottery. They're probably going to have maybe a top 10 pick next year. Move on to Chicago Bulls. Contender, pretender, or lottery? It's very hard to determine this because I think Chicago's a tweener, meaning that they're in between. They're in between pretender and contender. They're not a championship contender quite yet. Because, I mean, DeRozan had a very good season. He had an MVP caliber season. But here's the thing, though. This is the gripe against DeRozan. DeRozan has always had masterful seasons. Great seasons. I mean, definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. But here's the problem. He could never get it done. Ever in his career. I mean, I think last year, though, they just went against the wrong team. I think Milwaukee was just a bad matchup for the Bulls. I think if they would have went against maybe a Miami, maybe, any team but the Bucks, I think they could have gave Boston a run for their money, but Boston would have beat them. Brooklyn, I don't know. I think Brooklyn would have swept them. That's just me. But I think anybody but Milwaukee. That was just a bad matchup. I mean, obviously they were missing Lonzo Ball most of the season, and I keep hearing bad things about his injury updates. I haven't heard any good news about Lonzo, like he's been cleared to play. He's still having those knee issues because he missed most of the season with a torn meniscus. So it definitely depends on the health of Lonzo Ball for sure, whether this team is going to take it to the next level, because Lonzo, 6'6", defensive 3-and-D player. He can get up there too. And he's a lot more confident in Chicago as well. But on paper, this team could get to the Eastern Conference Finals. On paper. But will they is the question. That's why I'm saying. Now, if I'm going to pick a role for them, I say just playoff contender. And I mean that barely. They barely passed the pretender role. I mean, I feel like Levine, Vucevic, and DeRozan are all-star caliber players. But they have to play like that consistently. And them getting Caruso back, Caruso was also gone most of the season. Caruso is another guy that has defense and could jump out of the fucking gym. Adding Andre Drummond was good. Adding Goran Dragic was good. Is Dalen Terry going to get clock? Is Marko Simonovic going to get clock? Patrick Williams, he's good. I like Patrick Williams. I think he's going to be the X factor of this Bulls team. He's going to be the one that they're not going to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? I truly think that that's going to be the person that they're not going to be paying attention to. And he's going to have a lot of games where he's dropping 15, 16, 17 points because you're leaving him open. And he's young. Like, this dude, shit. This dude was born in 2001. Oh, my God. Like, God damn, boy. Like, this kid's only 20, 21, 22 years old. My goodness. A young buck. But yeah, let's move on. So, Cleveland Cavaliers, definitely a contender. Not even up for discussion. Honestly, I think they might be better than Chicago, in my opinion. This roster, though. I mean, Garland and Mitchell is right up there with Murray and Young as one of the better backcourts in the league. Like, this is crazy. Like, this Donovan Mitchell move was big. I mean, you got Garland, Mitchell, Okoro, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. That's a strong starting five. That's one of the better starting fives in the league, especially the Eastern Conference. It's gotten competitive again because, I mean, even without Mitchell, I had them making the playoffs this year due to growth. But adding Mitchell just makes this team dangerous. And this is a team that I would not want to face off against if I'm Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Boston, Chicago. Now, a series that I would love to see is Atlanta and Cleveland. Like, that series, like, listen, I'm not missing a game of that series. Period, point blank. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But Cleveland, definitely a contender. Has the potential within the coming years to be a championship contender. Dallas Mavericks, definitely a contender. Definitely a playoff contender for sure. I mean, the addition of JaVale McGee, like this dude is a good luck charm everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes, ever since he's won those championships with Golden State, he's a good luck charm. Like he's been successful everywhere he has gone. So I don't expect nothing less in Dallas. I mean, Luka Doncic, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the MVP of the league this year. Wouldn't be surprised. He's gonna have a hell of a year. I mean, getting Tim Hardaway Jr. back. Um, I don't know if Jaden Hardy. Hopefully, Jaden Hardy gets some clock. Like that dude worked hard as hell in that G League. He's definitely got Gilbert Arenas potential. Finney Smith, definitely one of the best 3-and-D players. Spencer Dinwiddie, who's probably going to take Jalen Brunson's place. I mean, Dinwiddie and Doncic, decent backcourt. Reggie Bullock, knockdown three-point shooter. Maxi Kleber, knockdown three-point shooter. Davis Bertrand, knockdown three-point shooter. And the addition of Christian Wood. Yes, sir. Like, that is underrated. Even though they traded a whole bunch of players to get him, but you know, that was just a roster dump. And I apologize about the footsteps above me. I don't understand why these people are moving around at 12 o'clock in the fucking morning. But I apologize. So, man, Dallas looks very good. Should have did this shit in my fucking car. What the fuck was I thinking? But this is YouTube. This is for free. So, you get free noise. All right. Denver Nuggets. Oh, man. This is the most dangerous team in the West. Like, they are a threat if Porter and Murray are healthy. That's the only thing. I mean, drafting Christian Braun was nothing short of genius. Bones Highland is going to be a whole lot better than he was last year. Because, I mean, he's definitely got some Damian Lillard in him. I like him. And then the addition of Bruce Brown, who was big for the Nets last year. I'd never been too fond of the guy, but he has improved like a motherfucker. Definitely becoming a 3-and-D guy. Definitely. I mean, adding Caldwell Pope, who's an NBA champion as well. Peyton Watson, that's the guy to watch. If he gets playing time, that's the thing. If he gets playing time, Peyton Watson could jump out the gym. This dude, I watched tape of this guy. He's going to be one of those guys catching alley-oops from Joker. Oh, boy. Problematic. Ish Smith has always been serviceable everywhere he's been. And Jamal Murray, if he could be playoff Jamal Murray, I wouldn't be surprised if he got most improved player next year. Michael Porter Jr., I think he's going to break out if healthy. If he plays 60, 65 games, it doesn't get hurt for the playoffs, this team could be scary. I definitely say contender, playoff contender. Championship contender is dependent on health and whether they get a backup center or not. Detroit Pistons. I'm going to go with pretender. I don't think we're going to we're going to probably hit the lottery, maybe. But I say a tweener between pretender and lottery. I'm going to say pretender, actually. We got playing potential, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we've improved all around. Like, you know, yes, I'm from Detroit. So that's why I say we. Okay. I mean, Cade Cunningham, he's going to take a leap. He's going to be averaging 24, 25 points a game. 25, 5, and 5 is what we're looking at as far as potential goes. Like Jalen Duren, I hope he gets some clock. Like, I hope he starts, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Oh, my God. But, yeah. I mean, Isaiah Stewart, I think he's a natural 4, but I'm hearing rumors that Sadiq Bey is starting at the 4. I hope that's not true. I hope Bagley is starting at 4. But I would love even though Bagley would be much better off the bench, he could give because Bagley, I like Bagley for us. I mean, he was finally healthy for a change and, you know, was doing what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Playing out the post. This dude was guarding like centers. He was starting at center, you know? But I feel like Bagley needs to work on his defense, stretch his shot to the 3-point lane, maybe. But yeah, man. This team is, Jaden Ivey, man, I hope he's 100% because I feel like Jaden Ivey, he is ready. Ooh, damn, my bad. Ivey's ready. Like this dude, with Cade, I think this is gonna be an underrated backcourt, man. They might be a top 10 backcourt. I ain't gonna hold y'all at 10. This is, Diallo, Kevin Knox gets a second shot. I hope he does well here. He definitely deserves another chance. I think he could do well here. Sadiq Bey is not only going to improve as a 3-and-D guy. Definitely underrated jumping ability. Kelly Olynyk has been serviceable for us. Like he's always been like what we call like a savvy player. He a guy that could do pretty much everything. He could pass, got a little handle, nice little post game, could stretch it out to the 3. Very useful. One of the more useful players in the league. Kemba Walker is not on our team. I don't know why his name is on the roster. Like, I thought we, bought him out. Is he actually going to play here, or is this fake? Who knows? But I'm going to say Pretender. Because I think we can win. I think the Pistons can win 35 games next year. Record-wise, it's lottery. But I think that's Pretender. Golden State Warriors, obviously championship contender. They're the defending champs. You have the same starting 5 from, again, I apologize about the noise. So this is what we got right here. You got the same starting 5 coming back from last year. They're obviously going to make some noise. A lot of people picked them to win the championship last year, and a lot of them were right, obviously. But Wiseman's got to stay healthy. I think if Wiseman's out there with those guys, with Wiggins, with Draymond, with Steph and Clay, that could be a strong starting 5. You got young bucks. Moses Moody, Jordan Poole. DiVincenzo was a great pickup for them. JaMychal Green also. And Kuminga, he been getting hated on by certain people about his work ethic. Trust and believe. He'll be there. Mac McClung, I don't know. Is he going to get some clock? They're loaded at the guard position. My goodness. Patrick Baldwin Jr., if he can get some clock out there, he could be a great knockdown shooter for them. So definitely championship contender. Houston Rockets, obviously lottery. I feel like the West is too loaded, but I think Houston's going to win more than what they're projected to win. I think they could win 24, 25 games. This is a young, up-and-coming team. Houston, in about 3-4 years, they'll be a playoff contender for sure. KPJ, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, KJ, or Jay-Sean, and Alperen Sengun. This is a decent starting 5. I'm not going to lie. This team is going to be way better than what people say they are. I will say that. Jalen Green, most improved player potential, could average the same as Cade, maybe 25, 5-5. That he has that potential. Jabari Smith Jr., from what I saw, I just feel like he has to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. Once he asserts himself, he can be a Brandon Ingram, Kevin Durant prototype. Indiana Pacers, no question lottery. No fucking question lottery. No disrespect. I mean, they'll be a fun team to watch. I could say that. They're very young and nobody expects anything of them. But I feel like some of these pieces belong on other teams. I mean, Benedict Matherin's going to come in and be productive. Aaron Nesmith, I think he's going to come in and be productive. I think TJ McConnell might get bought out. That's just my opinion. I think Buddy Hield eventually may get bought out or traded because a lot of teams want him, including the Fakers, who have been just dancing around when they could have been had him. But I definitely believe. And then Jalen Smith, I always thought he was a good pickup for Phoenix, even though they traded him. I mean, they're deep at that 4 position. But, signing James Johnson, veteran presence, I think Miles Turner, is definitely going to get traded. To where? I don't know. He fits in a lot of places. So you got to look out for that. Some of those players are going to get traded. So I think lottery for Indiana. Now, Clippers, if healthy, why isn't the roster showing up? What the fuck? No data available? You gotta be shitting me. You're not gonna show the roster. Like, not at all. There's some bootleg shit here. Let me find the Clippers roster, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Okay. Gotta use ESPN. Ain't that a bitch? But anyway. I mean, you obviously bringing back John Wall, who could average 20 and 10 easy. A healthy John Wall could average 20 and 10 to go alongside Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. If healthy, this team is a threat for the championship. This is a championship contender. I mean, Robert Covington, always been a serviceable 3-and-D guy. You got Nicholas Batum, who's the same thing. You got Marcus Morris, very serviceable player, very consistent. Norm Powell, who can go off and score 20 off the bench easily. Terrence Mann, who's had some big playoff games. Ivica Zubac. The only thing that they need really is a center. And this team is complete. I mean, I like the Clippers, always have. Like, the Clippers almost made the playoffs without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They were like a Paul George jump shot away from the playoffs. And that series versus Phoenix, that could have been ugly for Phoenix, especially, with Booker's injury. But I say championship contender for the Clippers. Los Angeles Lakers, definitely pretenders. Pretenders. You know what I'm saying? Definitely pretenders. They're not contending for a championship. Stop this. LeBron James is 80 years old. Okay? I don't care. Like, what y'all say, I don't care about him averaging 38 and 6 or whatever the fuck he averaged last year. That still didn't result in a playoff berth. Now, however, if Scottie Pippen Jr. can get some clock, mind you, look at all the guards. How is Westbrook going to fit into this? It's rumors that Westbrook is coming off the bench. I highly doubt that. I do not think that that's true. I think it's stupid if so. But all these guards, my nigga, it's like, damn. I mean, Lonnie Walker Jr. will have a career year on the Lakers, but that's going to be the only highlight. It's going to be a lot of low lights. I mean, Anthony Davis, that dude can't play 60 games, bro. I don't see him playing 60 games. I see him playing 50. And I think that's very generous. I see pretty much a 9 seed, 8 seed. Definitely a pretender, though. Huh. Looks like we got the first pretender of the day. Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know. That's a hard one. I say contender, but not championship contender. I don't think this team on paper is a championship caliber team just yet. I feel like the loss of Jackson Jr. has a lot to do with that. He's going to be gone into possibly the All-Star break. Picking up Danny Green, low-key pickup, one of the low-key pickups of the offseason. Drafting Jake LaRavia, he's going to replace Jackson Jr. in the starting lineup. They still have Steven Adams. Brandon Clark's a very productive player. Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks, the assassins on the perimeter. Yeah, they like to hurt people, from what I know. We don't know if Kenny Lofton Jr. and David Roddy going to get clock. Kennedy Chandler probably might get clock. Kennedy Chandler is going to be the underrated rookie if given the opportunity. But I'm going to say contender, but not a championship level contender. Miami Heat. Oh, man, this team, they're a contender, but barely. They're in between contender and pretender because it seems like they could never get to the finals. You know, they got there, but I'm just saying they haven't been back since. They've been to multiple conference finals a lot. And I don't see them making the conference finals this year. I don't see it. Even with Jimmy improving. Like this team, I feel like Miami has to make a trade. You know, I felt like Mitchell could have been a very good fit alongside Jimmy Butler or Kevin Durant. But I don't think they could get a player like that. They would have to get somebody on a bad team that's really, really good. I feel like I don't think this team really is good enough to win a championship. I feel like they got to move some parts around. I mean, keep Adebayo and Butler and Tyler Hero maybe. The rest of the team, I mean, I can't trust Max Struss, even though he was phenomenal in the playoffs. Duncan Robinson, he was in and out of the lineup. And is Yurtseven going to take a step up next year? Obviously, Oladipo, I think he's going to be the X factor for this team. I think he's going to get this team a lot of wins in the regular season. I think this will be a good regular season team. But the playoffs, I don't know. I don't see them getting out of the second round. But I'm going to say contender, but barely. Milwaukee Bucks, definitely a contender. Long as you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think this team is always going to be fine. I mean, Marjon Beauchamp, that's the guy to watch. For me, very explosive in the open court. Improved his jump shot since he was in the G League. Grayson Allen, one of the dirty players of the league. Bobby Portis, he was an X factor. He might have been the best fourth option in the league for sure. Chris Middleton's got to be healthy. I mean, he got injured at a crucial time during the playoffs last year. Sprained his MCL. That's tough. But I think long as Middleton scores 20 a game, I think Milwaukee has a chance against anybody in the league. Definitely a contender. Maybe championship contender for sure. Especially with this squad. Minnesota Timberwolves. I say pretender. Not quite a contender yet. I say pretender. No disrespect. I just don't think that this team is deep enough to make a playoff run. And then it also varies the opponent. And I feel like Minnesota is a first round out, no matter who they play. I mean, if you look at the top teams in the West, I mean, you look at the Clippers. Minnesota not beating them. Look at Denver. Minnesota not beating them. Look at Golden State. Minnesota not beating them. Shit. Who else? That's what I'm saying. Those are the top teams in the conference right there. You know what I'm saying? Look at Dallas. Minnesota not beating them. Look at Phoenix. Minnesota not beating them. So I feel like they're pretenders. I think they'll make the playoffs? I think they'll be an 8 seed once again. I mean, Anthony Edwards is going to be an all-star next year. Anthony Edwards is capable of averaging 25, 7, and 5. He's that good. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, I think that he is going to be solid, man. He's going to be a solid point guard. I think his scoring production is going to improve. I think we can get that Brooklyn Nets D'Angelo Russell back. Adding slow-mo was a good pickup. Not going to lie. Jalen Noel now fire. Eric Pascal, I didn't even know that they picked him up. Great pickup again. Josh Minott was showing out in the summer league. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some clock. Picking up Austin Rivers, pretty underrated pickup. Gobert was obviously the pickup. I don't know. I mean, Gobert has been exposed in many playoffs as a horrible perimeter defender. He gets dunked on a lot, but he's a shot blocker. A lot of those shot blockers do get dunked on, but I don't think many shot blockers that got dunked on at this rate by Gobert. I think Gobert has to improve offensively for this team to even flourish. So I'm going with pretender right now for Minnesota. New Orleans Pelicans. I think a lot of y'all gonna laugh when I say this, but I'm going to go with contender. Not a championship contender quite yet, but this team is going to make some noise. We want to know why? Defense. Dyson Daniels is a defender, even though we never got to see him in the summer league. I think his defense is going to help this team. Him and Jose Alvarado and Herb Jones, those guys are going to be a problem. I mean, you got CJ, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Jonas Valanciunas. That's a very good starting five. One of the more underrated starting fives. I mean, you got CJ, Ingram, and Zion. If all those guys are healthy, I don't see how they don't make the playoffs. I mean, Devontae Graham, if he gets it going, it's on. Trey Murphy's a knockdown shooter, underrated defensive player. Jackson Hayes, lob threat. And then, of course, Herb Jones, who I think next year going to make the first team all defense, man. No doubt. There's no way that this team doesn't contend. I say contender. New York Knicks, easy. Lottery. This team really just has nothing to offer. I mean, they'll win 30-something games, but with the East being as competitive as it is, this is definitely going to be a team that's left out. So I'm going to say lottery. Oklahoma City Thunder with the loss of Chet Holmgren, definitely lottery. Lottery team, but they'll win 24, 25 games. Not really a good team right now. I mean, I think if Chet is on the court, I think this team wins a good 30, 31 games. But I think Shea maybe could just miss the All-Star team. He's going to put up 25, 6, and 5. Easy money. And then Josh Giddey is going to improve. I mean, he's already improved his jump shot. That's the only thing that he was lacking because he has the athleticism and he has the passing ability. And I think he could be definitely a different version of D'Angelo Russell. He's got that potential. But, lottery. Orlando Magic, lottery. This team cannot compete against anybody. I'm sorry. Like, this team may be the worst team in the league again. But Paolo Banchero got Rookie of the Year potential, though. Wouldn't be surprised if he got it. He could be averaging 20, He could be averaging 20, maybe 8 and 8. Because Banchero can pass. It's an underrated ability from him. 76ers. I'm going to say, I don't know. They're a tweener between contender and pretender, but I'm going to say the lowest form of contender. It all depends on what Harden does. Can Harden average 25, 8, and 11? If he could do that, this Sixers team could be a championship contender. They have that potential. I mean, obviously adding Trez Harrell, great pickup. Underrated pickup. Joel Embiid, obviously. And, I mean, PJ Tucker, DeAnthony Melton, who was big in a lot of those Memphis series. He hits a lot of big shots. 3 and D Kai. It all depends on, can Shake Milton, Gorgeous Niang, Matisse Thybulle take their games to the next, and Forkner and Korkmaz, can they all take their games to the next level? Or, I mean, honestly, I think they need to find trades for Niang, Milton, Thybulle, Jaden Springer, and keep Isaiah Joe. I think they need to trade those 3 guys. I mean, shit. Trade him to Charlotte. It fit right in Charlotte. I'd try to go after Rozier. Rozier could help the 76ers off the bench. PJ Washington also could be in the front court with Joel Embiid. Something to think about, but definitely contender. Phoenix Suns. I mean, they're a contender, but not really a championship contender because the whole West just got better. And Phoenix is pretty much the same team as they were last year. Now, don't get me wrong, that same team did win 64 games, but however, they underachieved in their playoff run when Dallas blindsided them. No one expected Dallas to beat Phoenix. I didn't. I didn't expect Dallas to get that far, to be honest. I underestimated them. But Jason Kidd's a hell of a coach. Monty Williams is a hell of a coach. But I just feel like Devin Booker has to take his team to the next level because Chris Paul, shit, he's 37 years old. Turning 38 next year. That old nigga is on pins and needles. That nigga is like, his legs are like made of sticks from Elmer's glue. Okay? Like, you know those stick figures you used to make in art class? You need the Elmer's glue to keep it together. That's Chris Paul. Cone, right? I mean, CP is still productive. Don't get it twisted or fucked up. I'm just joking. I mean, he's always been 15 and 15. And this team is actually pretty fucking good, if you think about it. All these players are good. But in that crowded West, I don't think they could come out top 5, but definitely probably number 6, though. Number 6 or number 7. Not gonna lie. But Phoenix is definitely a contender, though. Portland Trailblazers, I say pretender for now. I say pretender. Because, honestly, I think Dame and them are going to get into the play-in game. And if I'm in the play-in, if I'm Sacramento or the LA Lakers or Minnesota, I do not want to see this team in one game. Now, you know, this team can get beaten in a 7-game series. But if we talking about one game, I don't want to see Damian Lillard for one game. That's my favorite player in the world, but I don't want to see this motherfucker in a play-in game. Because he's the play-in king. He's proven that. You do not want to see this team. Anthony Simons' improvement and growth. Him playing, you know, without Dame. He's got a whole new confidence. This kid could definitely average 19, 20 a game alongside Lillard. Could be the new Dame and CJ. But, you know, Simons, I haven't seen defense from him, but that's why they got Gary Payton II. I think Gary Payton II is going to improve this team's defense. Hopefully Shaedon Sharpe is back to normal and healthy, because I still haven't seen enough of this dude to determine like where he's going to land. I mean, you know, the tapes that I've seen, I mean, he's got the athleticism and got a shot, but I haven't seen defense. I see a lot of shot blocking from him. Jeremy Grant was a great pickup for this team. Jeremy Grant's another guy that could get you 20. So you got 3 guys in the starting lineup that could get you 20. Then Jusuf Nurkic, you can't forget about him. He's a solid big man in this league. Definitely capable of 13 and 12 alongside. I mean, Nasir Little's going to miss a lot of time. He tore his shit last year. Josh Hart is still a good player. So this is a scary-ass team if we're talking about ramifications for the play-in. But I'm going to go with Pretender right now. Sacramento Kings. I'm going to say Pretender as well. I don't think this is a lottery team in my opinion. I think this team is going to take the next step. Definitely a play-in team for sure. Definitely a team I wouldn't want to see either. Like Sacramento and Portland, like if that is the play-in game that I think is going to be, I don't give a fuck where I got to be and who I'm with. I'm watching that game. Whether it's on my phone or wherever the fuck. Because this team right here, I mean, Fox and Monk, the Kentucky backcourt is back again. Then you have Barnes, Murray, and Sabonis. Shit. And you had Kevin Huerter, who is a solid player to go alongside Davion Mitchell off the bench. Dellavedova is back in the league. Rashawn Holmes, he's an underrated player. Neemias Queta, like he was fucking awesome in the summer league. Trey Lyles, I mean, this is a pretty good team. Keegan Murray, I mean, it's going to be between him and Paolo for Rookie of the Year because both of these guys can average 20 on their respective teams. I think this nigga, Keegan Murray, might average 20 piece. Just 20. But yeah, this Sacramento Kings team is sitting on a lot of potential. But I'm going to say Pretender. San Antonio, this team is going to be the worst team in the league. I don't even think they win 15 games. I ain't going to hold you. They're going to get Victor Wembanyama, bro. Easy money. I mean, Jeremy Sohan, I wish he could have went to the Pelicans, man. He was the guy that they needed. But they selected E.J. Liddell, but, he tore his ACL. I mean, this roster is ass. Like, these motherfuckers going to have the number 1 overall pick next year. Book it. Lottery. Toronto Raptors, I'm going to say Pretenders. I mean, yes, they made the playoffs last year, but the East is well improved. I mean, Cleveland getting Donovan Mitchell kind of X's this team out. I wouldn't be surprised if this team was an 8 or a 9 seed, if that. And even then, I don't know. Because I'm trying to remember who missed. Okay, so Charlotte missed. Let me see. Atlanta's definitely going to be in. Boston, Brooklyn, Chicago, Cleveland. Miami is definitely going to be in. Milwaukee. And then you got Toronto, who's definitely going to have a play-in berth. Oh, Philly, too. Can't forget about Philly. So that's really like 8 good teams right there that I just named. So I really think that Toronto is probably going to be the 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, who's going to be an 8 seed? That's going to be hard to determine with so much improvement. But this team right here, they're okay. They're good, but they're not exciting. So that's why I say that they're going to probably lose in the final play-in game to whoever's 8th. Utah Jazz, pack them up, Johnny. Lottery. Lottery like a motherfucker. I mean, in order for, Toronto to, you know, be good, they're going to have to make a trade. They're going to have to put something around Van Vliet and Siakam because, I mean, besides, and Barnes too, I feel like they're missing like a wing that could just flat out score. I mean, Anunoby is good, but I think he's probably going to get traded. Like this Toronto team, they're going to be floating. They're going to be around, but they're going to be a tough out. But I say pretender for them. But Utah, stick them up, Johnny. It's lottery time. They might have the number 2 overall pick for all I know. Because obviously so many teams could use Jordan Clarkson. This is going to be Colin Sexton's team. More than likely. I think Talen Horton-Tucker has a breakout year. Rudy Gay's probably going to get traded or cut or bought out. Mike Conley, same thing. Lauri Markkanen, he fits Utah. Ochai Agbaji, that nigga going to go crazy this year. Don't be surprised if he averages 17, 18 points on this team. I mean, Jordan Clarkson definitely out of there. Malik Beasley probably definitely the fuck out of here. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Last but not least, the Washington Wizards. I'm going to say pretender. I think they're going to be a playing team in the East, probably playing Toronto. I'm curious to see what Bradley and Porzingis are going to do as a duo. Like, that'll determine my thoughts on the Washington. Can Washington get the 8 seed? I don't know. They would have to upset somebody. Because I could see them being 10th. You know what I'm saying? I honestly can't describe who is going to be like a 7th seed in the East because there are so many good-ass teams. I truly don't know. But this Washington team has a lot of potential. If the East wasn't so fucking packed, like they could make the playoffs. This is a playoff caliber team right here. I mean, let me see. Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, Daniel Gafford. That's a hell of a starting 5. And Denny, Rui, Taj Gibson, Will Barton, Johnny Davis. This is a good bench. This is really a good team. But unfortunately, they'll be lost in the sauce. Just due to the fact of the East improvement. There's like 8 teams in the East that maybe can come up out of there. So the East and the West are very competitive this year. But overall, that's my video. And you just learned whether your team is a contender, pretender, or going to hit the lottery. It's King No NBA Music Talk, and I'm gone.